So I'm gonna start recording. So this is week number 5. Welcome everybody. So today is one of those sessions that we're going to be talking about that everybody's been having questions about. How to decode the IG mystery, how to master social media, how to get more followers, how to get more engagement, this and that. So we have a guest expert today, and I'm so excited to introduce you all to Keisha Reynolds. But before we do that, because she is a powerhouse, let me tell you. Before we do that, let me just kind of go over a little bit about the Brand Accelerator, the role of a mentor, the role of a coach, and community. And it came from this weekend. I was at an event. It's called Master the Media. It was a live event. And one of the things that the Master the Media, the same information that they're going over and Master the Media, you all are getting right here. And basically what it is that she talked about the power of a mentor and a coach and community. And not just like a community of like social media community, but the community of you guys as a cohort together. So Allison, Sandra, Mikhail, Day, Cynthia, Kiera, Magdalena, Charlotte, Dr. Geneva, and Kimberly, which pops in right then, is that you all are, this is like a cross between a group coaching and a mastermind. But it'll only work if you all do this in the forum. So you were hand selected because I know what's in each one of you all. I know what gifts and skills and talents and how you all can collaborate together. But without me really kind of saying, you all need to talk, which I will do if you all don't talk, but I know that there's certain things that, say, Kimberly can collaborate with Dr. Geneva, or Charlotte can collaborate with Mikhail, or Day can collaborate with Cynthia. And so those are the natural things that I want you all to do, but it only happens in the forum. So in the event where I went to this weekend, one of the reasons why they said they joined their $20,000 program is because they wanted not just the coaching, but they wanted access to the other people in the group that they knew would help them go to the next level in terms of their goals. So when I was thinking like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what this is all about. So going over a coach, why, and I had this conversation with someone earlier. It's like, you know, I really don't want to just do homework. It's not homework. It's like you're taking your time to focus in on your business, because we can be so busy in the business, right, Mikhail? I think I saw Mikhail come on, that we don't really focus on the business. So this is every Tuesday. You hear and you learn from listening. You learn from listening to each other, and you also learn from the guest expert, but you also have a opportunity to just focus in on your business that really widens your vision of where you need to go, and also gives you strategy. So a coach will help give you a clear vision, okay, to help you see the forest for the trees. It will give you focus. Like I said, if you know every day that you have to focus on something that will build your business, is going to expand. Anything you focus on will expand. You heard that before. So we'll give you like a game plan. So in long-term strategies, not just running day by day by the seat of your pants, feeling overwhelmed, but just focusing in on that. A coach will also make sure that you have more efficiency, right? Making sure that every time you run a lap, that each round you go is more efficient. It also too gives you outside perspective. Now this is about branding and PR. It's second nature to me, but you may have your own ideas about what branding and PR marketing is all about, but this gives you an outside perspective. So it really, I can tell you exactly, like, oh, it's like, I don't, give someone an example. Someone says, I don't want to pitch the media because I pitched them last week and they covered me. No, if they covered you last week, that means they like you. Pitch them again, they like you. So keep pitching them until they say no. But if you pitch to them and they ran something, that means they like you. That means you're low-hanging fruit for them, and they know that your stuff is good. So you pitch them again. You have their number, you have their access to them. They know that what you are bringing, they don't have to do any research for. So say, for instance, if they covered your story already and they did a lot of what I call B-roll, or they did a lot of research, so they have that already in the bank. So don't pitch another station that may have to dig up all that B-roll or all that information or all that background information, because now you're pitching a different story. They already have your B-roll. They already have that information. So that's why that's why you can pitch someone again from the same station, even the same reporter. It's like you have them on speed dial. So that's like an outside perspective. Now, the person wasn't going to pitch the same station. They said, oh, I'm going to pitch another station because I don't want to bug them. Well, you're not going to bug them. You're actually building a rapport. The other thing, too, is that experience, like those whole things, anything that small pointers based on the years of experience will just move you a lot further, faster. It's just I can look at, like Charlotte sent me her one sheet. So I can look at her one sheet and say, this is good, but let's change these couple of things. And it's like, okay, fine. It's good. And it is. Charlotte, I'm not saying that it was a good one sheet. I did like it. She put it in the forum. So it was a good one sheet. So that's the thing. The only thing I wanted to change is a photo, but you have that coming up. So that's fine. But it's not a deal killer. Get it out. Okay, just get it out because you got some things going. And then strategic planning. Coach will help you develop long-term plans that will allow your business to function more efficiently and with the profit. So long-term planning, that's what a coach does. It's like, I'm here cheering you on, but you can only get as much out of it as you put into it. So the community is like a cohort. It's your mastermind. Iron sharpens iron, you guys. So it's a safe space in the forum. You can have support. You can always reach out to me. Collaboration. I just did a Facebook Live about collaboration is the new black. That's like why Keisha and I are on this call, because Brian collaborated for all of us, 32 of us in one book under the Black Speaker Network. So that's one of the main things that collaboration is. So I think Magdalena, she said that she has been digging into her avatar and doing the work, and I wanted her to share. She knew that I told her I wanted her to share her elevator speech. So not elevator pitch, but elevator speech. And so this particular was a real event that I was at the other day, a couple of months ago or whatever, a couple of weeks ago. I don't know. I've been going some places. So anyway, so this lady was telling the U.S., the New Jersey Secretary of State some information. And obviously it's a crowded room. It's a lot of people and this and that. And there were people lined up to talk to the Secretary of State. This lady went on and on and on and on. And so the lady in the red, the Secretary of State, she was trying to be polite, but I could hear this woman rambling and not really getting to the point of what it is that she does or what she wanted from the Secretary of State. So don't be that person. When you see there's a long line of people, you have to be quick with your elevator pitch. Give them the information you need. Ask them, can we keep in contact? Because obviously there's a room full of people, and then you receive their information. If they ask for your information, give it to them, but don't push it in their hand. Don't push it in their hand, because obviously they just came off a stage and speaking or whatever, but just ask them for their information. If they don't have it, then say, can I give you mine? Can we keep in touch or something like that? Okay. So anyway, don't be the person where you're just going on with your elevator speech. And it's like, okay, this elevator that went up and down about 18 times and you still going. Okay. So we don't want to be that person. So Magdalena, I kind of teed you up. So let me hear yours, because I want Keisha to hear how everybody's been practicing their elevator speech.
So this is, you can hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this is my new one. I didn't feel comfortable with the first one, and I think that's why I kept stuttering and stumbling over my words. I don't think they were my words.
Okay.
My personality wasn't in it. So this is my new and revamped one. All right.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Magdalena Sylvain, and I wrote a book called How I Lied My Way to the Altar, and I'm happily married. In my book, I share my journey as well as some detailed, intimate information that I went through, that I went through while searching for my bad boy Christian. I was feeling hopeless and becoming afraid that I would never meet him and I would remain single my whole life. I was frustrated, confused, and clueless to what I was doing that was causing my bad boy Christian to not surface. Then one day I was praying, and it was made clear to me that I kept doing this one thing over and over again. And once I overcame that one thing and added a few simple steps, I met my husband within a year. So I
Okay.
would love an opportunity to come on your show, to share my story so that I can encourage women who are also frustrated and discouraged to not give up on love and dating.
I love that. That is so much clearer.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It had enough intrigue in it, and it also had the call to action about I will share, you know, and it's like,
Right.
well, what is it? What is it you're going to share?
Okay.
So that was good. That was good. I like it. And you felt more better about it saying it because you said the bad boy Christian.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, my bad boy Christian, because I had to sit there and really think, and that's what I was on the search for a bad boy Christian, and I found him.
That is good. I like that. I like that. So that is one of the things where you are, I think you're going to excel in. So I think before every live that you do, because you're going to start doing more lives, is just kind of give the intro of who you are, but kind of shorten it a bit.
Okay.
Because it's like, hi, my name is Magdalena. You may not know who I am, but I, bada, bada, bada. And that sort of thing. Then you can start doing your lives because now you've given them context of who you are and what you're about to share.
Okay.
All right. So that is good. I see some chats in here. Oh, and Charlotte said, awesome, Magdalena. Allison said she loved that call to action. Day said that was great. Okay. All right. All right. So let's do one more that someone who hasn't done one before. Who hasn't done one before? So Allison, I don't know if you are. Can you, Allison?
I'm the first one to do mine.
Okay.
I did that before. Thank you.
I'll go. I don't think I've done mine before.
Okay. All right, do yours, Day, because you want to introduce yourself to everyone. Okay, go on.
Yes. Hi, my name is Day Edwards. I am the founder of Church Space, where we match ministries who do not have spaces that are already available.
Okay, that's your introduction. That is who you are. So basically, kind of the things that, and you do more than that, Day. So.
Oh yes, yes I do.
Oh, okay. So you need to tell them. So basically now, so all the accelerators are on. Like, okay, so that's what she does. So why hasn't she been here? Like really, like the last few times or whatever. So you can say that you are doing a pageant.
I have a pageant system that I currently have. It's a natural hair pageant system, and we have queens nationwide. Aside from that, I also have a PR firm as well. So I've been a little busy, but I have been tuning in because I love the knowledge that I'm getting here. And recently, I just won a 10K pitch competition for my business Church Space. So I'm so used to pitching that way, just giving a really quick pitch, like real quick.
Right. Okay, yeah, they do like you to make them really, really quick. That is one of the main things. So she has a pageant, she has a PR firm, and she also has Church Space, which is an innovative place where instead of a church meeting at a hotel, what it is that they meet at Church Space. So it's kind of like a workspace, like a WeWork for churches, but almost like an incubator in a way. So that's good. That's good. So really from the standpoint of if you were pitching a story, which one would you pitch? If let's just say the pageant, because we talked about that earlier.
Because the pageant is very hot right now, so let's go with that. Hi, my name is Day. I'm the founder of Black and Natural Pageant. We are the largest national pageant for women of color with natural hair. I would love to use your segment to discuss the following topics: natural hair in the workplace, and natural hair in the pageant system are the most recent natural hair crowning.
The most natural hair crowning. Okay, what does that mean?
Recent wins
of Miss
America
and Miss
Tina.
Okay, right.
Yes.
So because you're so close to it, you're thinking that they're gonna know. So one of the things I told her, because she does have a pageant, she has like one of the first natural hair pageants in the country nationwide, is that for her to pitch now, because there is Miss America, well, first of all, Miss America, Miss USA, Miss Teen, they're all Black, and 2 of them have natural hair. And I said that will be something that they would like to talk about. Like, why is this a big thing? What is the thing all about? Especially white people. White people are always touching our hair anyway. So, you know, they're always like just confused about our hair. So you can make that a thing where you can go on and talk about it and explain to the general market why this is a deal and why this community is so big. I don't know if you have any stats you may want to add about the natural hair industry. I know for sure that the girl who made curls, who's your sponsor, she's like a millionaire twice over for sure.
Yes.
I mean, she's got this thing called Black Girls Make a Million. I'm like, just from hair care products. So that's the thing, because now you can have the shine about talking about your pageant, talking about the natural hair industry, and then talking about your sponsor.
Right. Very true.
You know, before, I haven't seen her out talking about it, but she doesn't have a pageant.
Right. So we should really, are you saying that we should also talk about the actual sponsor?
Yes, because they have no idea. I mean, if you don't wear natural hair and you don't know about the products, you don't know how much money. And Charlotte, you would know too, because you're in the industry. They make a lot of money.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money. I've seen a girl that just basically just started on Instagram, and now she has her own line all over the place. So anyway,
Wow.
That's one of the things where we were talking when we had TJ on. And she talked about piggybacking or newsjacking. That's an example of a newsjack. That is definitely a thing of newsjack. Okay, so we're gonna go. Today we're gonna be talking about. See that you guys are chatting, and I'm trying to look as well. Yes, very true. African Americans spend the most. We do spend the most. It says it did sound muffled, but I'm intrigued by your pageant. Oh, she was saying she was saying that you sound a little muffled, but give the link, put the link in the chat, Day, for, if you can, over what your pageant is, like how you do your pageant, like the link to the pageant.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be good. That would be good, because she said, because let's see, Magdalene, you do have natural hair, don't you? Yeah. Okay, that's true. I didn't think about that. Okay, so see how the natural collaboration will go on. She may be the next queen in Florida. That'd be a good way for you to meet new people in Florida too, by being crowned the Miss. What is it? What's the pageant called, Day? Miss
Black and Natural.
Oh, Miss Black and Natural. There you go. That's a thing. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I'm recording. Yep, I am recording. Is Tanya on the line? Just want to make sure. Tanya, want to make sure I am recording. Good. Okay. blackandnaturalpageant.org. Okay. So today we're actually talking about social media mastery and how to decode the IG mystery. I call it the IG mystery because it is different than all the other platforms right now. It's like, okay, it's like everything. All right, what happened here? So first, why is social media important for business and marketing? And basically, if you know why it's important, but we're just kind of go over, like, social media platforms help you connect with customers, increase awareness about your brand, and boost your leads and sales. That's the bottom line. It's a new form of really getting out there, right? With more than 3 billion people around the world using social media every month, it's not a passing trend. I'll give an example of why people thought it was a passing trend. And of course, if you're a millennial, you don't think it's a passing trend because you grew up with it. But my generation, baby boomers, especially people in my industry in PR, when I really got involved in doing a lot of PR, what I call PR 2.0 with my clients way back in the day, a lot of my PR colleagues who were my age, they were like, girl, why are you doing all that stuff on Facebook? Why, before it was like, why are you doing all this stuff on MySpace, right? And I was like, it's going to be the thing. I said, Facebook, MySpace, I said, it's a way for my authors to connect directly with their readers. And even my authors who were a little bit older were like, why do we want to connect directly with our readers? Your customers. Okay, so it was more or less like removing the gatekeeper of the media who had to explain who their story, where they could go and tell their story directly themselves. And that's what I saw with the power, because I'm always about like empowering people. So I really saw the power of them owning their own media. They can own their own TV station by YouTube. They can own their radio station by having a podcast. They can own their own magazine by starting a blog, or their own newspaper by starting a blog, or they can have their newsletter in their email. And so I really thought at that point that that's where social media, and we're talking like in 2000, 2001, 2, and 3, that people weren't really doing it like they are doing it now. Now, when I think about it, a millennial back then in 2000, they were probably what, 12 years old. So now we're looking 20 years later, they're in their 30s and they have grown up with it and they are killing the game. They're killing the game. Whereas my PR colleagues, they were in that time, 40 years old or so, and they didn't want to learn, quote unquote, the new media. And then now 20 years later, they're up they didn't make that pivot. They're still working, but then they don't have the skills. So they don't have the skills to learn it because now they feel like it's too late. It's never really too late, but the whole point of it is to be an early adopter and to always want to change, to see trends, and to be, if you want to stay relevant, is to see the change. So if someone, and not saying you have to jump on every bandwagon for everything, but I try them all out. I try out Snapchat because I need to know how it works, because I need to train other people on how to do it. But don't be so like, I'm not going to do that. Facebook gonna steal my information. I'm not gonna do PayPal because I don't put my credit card online. That whole thing, and it leaves you irrelevant. It leaves you out of the game. People don't want to do business with people that don't know the basics of this technology, the social media world, the digital world, the online world. Okay, so today we're gonna go over like why and how to find a tribe, social plan for speakers, and Instagram, what it takes to crack the code. Now, part of that was I took what we're going to go over from Keisha, because she wrote a book that we are collaborating in called Speak Up, right? So Speak Up is our book. And that was what she talks about in her chapter, which I'll give you all a excerpt of her chapter from that in our session. But let me give you a little bit of background who Keisha Reynolds is. She is the CEO of K&R Communications, a digital public relations and marketing firm. See, that wasn't even a thing. Keisha, like 15 years ago, said, what's a digital public relations firm? And that has led branding and digital marketing campaigns across the East Coast. Some of her clients include the National Association for the Study of African American Life and History in DC, and the Black Speakers Network in Baltimore. So I'll show you some of her work that she's done for BCN as well. She is also an adjunct professor at Hampton University in the Scripps Howard School of Journalism and Communications, any HBCUs in the house, where she leads the web development curriculum and teaches public relations. She is also the founder of Empowering Her, a women's empowerment brand and business for self-care. So that's her website down there at the bottom there. Okay. It's a thing. You all don't have, I know a lot of you all have children. I have a dog. And like a toddler, it's like whenever I get on the phone or start doing a webinar, he likes to just shake his little things. So I'm sorry about that. That sound was getting on my nerves. So Keisha, okay, just really quick before we get into her presentation, is going to talk about Instagram. And this is something that Keisha did. Keisha started this. This is a Black Speakers Network, and I just took a screenshot of it because Brian told me that you were the one that set them on the path of their Instagram success. So this is their Instagram, just a screenshot of it. So you see these things across the top, the partners, our book, members, speaker tips, testimonials, webinars, and resources. She did all that. And then if you look at the page, Instagram used to be, and I'll just tell you a story about me, Instagram, I treated like Facebook. It was like, oh, got a picture, just throw it up on Instagram. And I was Instagramming all the time. It's like, oh, okay. And then finally, my millennial daughter said, you're posting too much and you're posting crap that's not Instagram worthy. I'm like, what is Instagram worthy? What is that? And she was like, no, it needs to have a certain look. It needs to have whatever. Because every time she posts something, it's like 500 likes. You know, I said, well, I'm not 22 years old. Okay. So I'm not going to have that banging body like that. But she's not saying anything that you have to have a certain look. But what she was saying is that don't post so often. And then because if you post like Twitter, people will then not really watch you in your Instagram. So that was one thing I learned from her. But I also learned too that your Instagram page overall has to have a look. So within the last probably, I'd say year to 6 months, my Instagram page has had a different look. And what it is that I post the orange, which is some kind of content. Then I post a picture, and then it's just basically like that. It's words, picture, words, picture. So some of the pictures match, but some of them don't. They're just pictures. But I just know whenever I have a text with the orange, then the next thing is going to be a picture. And I try to stay true to that pattern because your page looks better with the pattern. And I can see that Keisha has done that same type of pattern for BSN. Okay. So that is where, do you want to, Keisha, do you want to share your screen or you want me to share or to try to, which is easier?
I'll share my screen.
Okay, you share your screen. Okay, because yours is a PDF and I gotta try and find it. Okay, so I will let you share your screen and she's going to go over her. So I'm gonna stop my share so you can do that. Okay. I'm excited. I'm gonna learn something because she knows this stuff backwards and forwards. And so we'll have time for you all to answer questions as well.
All right.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I am excited to speak to each of you today, and I do want to say thank you to Pam for inviting me here as an expert to talk to you all about Instagram and uncoding what this means.
Okay, hold on one second, Keisha.
Okay.
I hear reverb. So you're a little muffled. Can everybody hear her? Was it reverbing? Okay. So you have earplugs?
I do not.
Okay. Everybody's muted. Let me mute myself and see how that sounds.
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Sounds better. Okay, I see everybody doing this. All right. Okay. So again, I'm excited to be here, and I was just thanking Pam, and we've gone through some of these things already that were on the screen. So I do want to jump into this so that we can really have time to understand each of these things that we will talk about. I have developed what I have as 5 steps that will help you to unlock this mystery of Instagram. But before we get there, I did want to read this excerpt from the Black Speakers Network book. Because particularly I wanted to put this in here because that book deals with speakers. And I understand that you all are within that realm of speaking and being authors and business owners and things like that. So I believe that what I wrote in that is like an introduction to what we'll talk about today. So I'm just going to read this very quickly. So it says, the first thing I have on the screen is that the very nature of social media is the premise of being social. Many times people miss out on that. Like, what do I need to post on social media? How should I be communicating? What is it that I should be doing? You should be social, just as if you were speaking to someone that you meet face to face. If you're talking to someone via phone, things of that nature, you want to bring forth your personality. So I love the fact that Pam has you all sharing your elevator pitch, being able to summarize exactly what you do in a short amount of time. Facebook or Instagram takes that elevator pitch and you then expand upon it to create your content. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on. But the very premise of social media is actually being social. Many times businesses miss this underlying truth in the pursuit of understanding their individual purpose for using social media as a marketing tool. Not only is social media a new communications outlet, but it has also changed the essence of how we communicate across every medium that precedes it. With one post, you can create a conversation or invoke a thought that transcends geographical locations, age, race, and gender. That is how powerful social media is in the life of any business. Being a speaker is no different. You can use a speech that you deliver on stage to hundreds of people as your value-based idea for using social media. So when I talked about that elevator pitch and taking that and expanding upon it in your content, what you do is essentially your value-based idea, right? Why do you exist? Why did you start your platform? Why did you create your organization? Why did you launch your book? What is the value-based idea? What is your why? This simply means identifying a simple concept that sits at the heart of your speaking business, which will drive the value that you deliver to your followers each and every day. This To determine this, you have to look at being a speaker as a brand to determine your brand positioning so that when online users think of a particular subject, they deem you as the thought leader in the social space on that matter. This then creates what we call a tribe of followers that seek you for knowledge and will advocate for you without you having to ask them to. Cool. So I like that. I thought that went with this and it kind of sets the tone. So step one, the very first thing that I want to talk about is being visually appealing. So Pam kind of kicked this off for me. You do not want to have generic posts on Instagram. They do not work. So if you're just posting random stuff, it is not going to work. Instagram is not like Facebook where you can say, oh, I'm outside walking in the park with my dog. People do not care. They want you to tell a story with your content. So the first thing that I'm always going to encourage anyone to do, especially when you are building a brand in a social space, is that you need to develop a content calendar. A content calendar can start off on the premise of 7 days. It can go all the way up to 30 days. So it doesn't matter where you start. If you feel like you just need to start with 5 days and max out Monday through Friday, start there. With your content calendar, you can create what it is that you want to post for an entire week. So much like Pam shared with her aesthetics, so I have on here, you want to create a cohesive layout. The aesthetics just helps with the placement of the eye. So when we think about Instagram, Instagram is more like a magazine. So when people come to your profile or to your page, you want their eye to be drawn to something in particular. So if you have a whole bunch of posts that are all over the place, they don't know where to start. They have no idea where their eyes should land. It's like, oh, this is happening over there, but then this is happening over there. I don't even know where to go. So now I'm exiting your profile because I don't know where to start. So when you create something that has a cohesive flow, it allows the eye to move across your page more naturally, right? So we know when you read in a certain direction from left to right. Your eye tends to be drawn to things from left to right. Or it is drawn to something that pops out or stands out, right? So that can be a text-based post like Pam shares. She has her text-based post and you have the writing on it. The background of that is orange. So the first thing I'm going to see on her profile is the things with the orange backgrounds with the writing. Then my eye will transcend to the images, right? To see what are the images all about. So when we talk about creating something that has a cohesive flow, you want to think of it in that way. The power in using something with a cohesive flow is that you can showcase your brand identity and your brand colors. So what is your brand colors that you have created for your business, for your book, for your organization, and you want to be able to use that. I'm also an advocate for making sure that your font styles go along with everything. So if you're using a certain font on your branded collateral or materials, you want to transcend that into the digital space as well. So everything, when someone looks at it, they know and recognize it as your brand. That is important. So when we are just seamlessly browsing on Instagram and we're not doing anything, we're trying to fall asleep, you're supposed to be asleep, but you're on Instagram, your followers will know that this content comes from you and your page versus another page that has nothing to do with you. So you want to make sure that your brand identity is very clear in your content that you create. So using your brand colors, again, using your font styles, using your logos, all of that is really important. So I'm going back to, yes. So I'm going back to that content calendar. An easy way to develop a content calendar, and this is where I start with a lot of my clients, is to think about creating things that has both your text-based and your visual. So you saw that's something that we did for Black Speakers Network, right? So what are some quotes that we can use from either speakers who are a part of the network? What are some quotes we can use from the book? What are some quotes that we can use from just famous speakers that we may know and love? What is some information that you just want to put out there to your audience that they need to know and you just want it to be in their face? That can be in the form of a short text-based post. You can use that as an option. The next thing that you can use is your images. use your images, photos. So anytime you go out somewhere, if you're speaking on a stage, if you have any type of news coverage that you're generating for your business, you want someone somewhere taking a picture. When they take that picture, you want to be able to post that onto your social media platforms. In this particular case, on Instagram, that serves as your text-based post. You can also interchange that text, or I'm sorry, as your photo-based post. You can also interchange that with video. So video is getting ready to change the game. We saw this take a shift in 2018, and it's trending upward right now with the use of video in the social media landscape, because people don't like to read. They just want to see something, and if it entertains them, they stick around a little bit longer. So if you can create some type of snippet, a video clip of anything that you do, whether you're speaking, whether you are on television, whether you're on a podcast, whatever you're doing, if you just decide to talk one day and you want it to look nice though, when you present it, and it's something that they can look at very quickly and move on to the next post. So you want to think about videos in this aspect too, because your videos will convert higher for you than any other post that you post on your social media platforms. Okay. So when I say convert higher, that means that video has a higher conversion rate. I believe that video has an 80% higher conversion rate than any other post on social media. So
Keisha, just real quick, that even includes like boomerangs as well.
Yeah.
Like the little short boomerang videos. Those even convert higher than just a plain picture, because I get more on my boomerang of just doing something silly, moving a book back and forth or whatever. Yep.
Yeah. Yes. So video is king, and you will start to see that more so as we move forward in the social media arena. So I do encourage you to have a photo shoot. If you're just like, I don't have no pictures, Keisha, what do you mean when you post some pictures? Have a photo shoot. Find a photographer. It doesn't have to be some extremely high-end photographer. You can find someone who may be up and coming. Go to these colleges, right? I work at Hampton University, and I have the most talented students, and I'm actually in the communication school, like the School of Communications. So go to these colleges that you may know who have people who have interns, and you can pay them $100, $150 to do an amazing photo shoot for you. Or if you know somebody, or if you have a camera, set up a tripod. You take your own pictures, but you want to have some type of high quality imagery for your social media platforms. Okay. So I'm going to always encourage you to have some type of branded photo shoot for your business.
And that was like the week, last week, week 4, we had a photographer on, and I gave everybody a photo shoot planner, so they can know how to plan because even if you use a student, or if you use someone that you don't know and you find them on Thumbtack or whatever, thumbtack.com, you still want to give them your photo shoot planner. You still want to give them some information, like what you're looking for in the shoot, so they can kind of coordinate what it is that you're looking for. So that is so true. But yep, that photo shoot, you can use it for everything. Okay, I'm gonna go back and mute.
Awesome. I do agree. And I also encourage you to update your photos often too. So if you feel like, man, I've been posted this photo 1,000 times, or a photo that may be similar, if you can have a quarterly photo shoot, and that's something that I do for my brand, is once a quarter, I have a photo shoot. So that's 4 times out of the year. And then I can use those images throughout the 3 months, and then even after the 3 months in, I can still use those images beyond that time frame, but it just gives you more collateral that you can use for your business, which is always a plus. So the second step that I want to talk about is that Instagram stories is the key to live. So we talked about the videos, right? This is a form of creating videos. If you notice, again, last year that Instagram stories released, Facebook stories came out, YouTube stories came out, everybody was creating some type of story platform. So that is encouraging you as the content creator to get comfortable with using video-based content, because that's the way that the social media landscape is trending towards again. So you have to get comfortable with video. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. Like, I don't want to talk, I'm uncomfortable, I don't know what to say. But I do encourage you to do it. You just got to do it. That's the only way you can get comfortable being on camera, is that you do it. So you want to let
and that's why I wanted everybody to do Zoom as well, because I could do it and we could hide our faces or whatever, but I want everybody to just get used to seeing their face in the place. Okay. And look at your background and that sort of thing. Find the right way to do it. I mean, get the lighting. I think Magdalena told me that daylight, to get the daylight bulbs, those are better and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so we got to get used to it. It's that thing where we don't want to get left behind.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. And Dr. Geneva, she does lives just about every day. So she's real comfortable with the camera, And it's like, she is always live. And so I like that. So we get her, and I talk a little bit too, Keisha, about Instagram and Facebook, because they are owned by the same people, how you can maybe do an Instagram live and a Facebook live at the same time.
Okay. So you can do an Instagram live and a Facebook live at the same time. However, you're going to have to use either 2 different devices to do it. And I do that all the time. Well, I had a series at one point, but I fell off my series. And the way that I would do it is my computer would be my Facebook, and then I would use my phone as my Instagram, and I would set them up, and I'm talking to both platforms at the same time. And both people who are on both audiences on both platforms get to experience the same thing. And then with video, I always encourage you to save it and to archive your video. That is something that you can use as an upsell for some type of content that you decide to do something with it. I don't know. I save all my videos. And something that I do at the end of the year is that I create a bundle. So I did like a holiday sales and marketing boost bundle for Black Friday all the way through Christmas. And that was just a series of recordings that I did that talked about sales, Instagram sales, and all that stuff. So that's a good way to create products for yourself as well. Or, that's what I did. So that's a quick little nugget. With that, you can, when you talk about Instagram stories, you want to be able to share your products and your services with your audience. So again, people don't like to read. And I am also an advocate for long captions, only because you want to be able to tell a story and then to sell people at the end. So you always want to have a call to action with any type of content that you create, because you are in business. So you have to ask. And that's just a part of business. So you want to talk about your products and services. What makes this special, right? So you could do that inside of your Instagram stories. Just, hey, I created this product because of X, Y, and Z, right? You can go behind the scenes also in your Instagram story. So if you are developing and creating something, like I build websites, I take people on the journey of creating a website, right? So it's like, boom, here's the blank shell. I'm adding this and I'm adding that. Here's what it looks like at the end. And then people are like, whoa, that's really amazing. Take people behind the scenes of your brand and your business. What that does is that helps to humanize who you are. You can also showcase your personality. The reality is that people connect with people. That's why we buy any product and service. Something has to trigger your heartstrings for you to say, yes, I want that thing. I want to be a part of that. Showcasing your personality will help you in that regard. So you want to share your messages. You want to be a part of the video trend. So using Instagram stories will help you to do that. The third step is that engagement is how you win. So here's this tricky thing that we talk about all the time. It's like, well, how do I get more followers? And how do I get more likes? And no one is engaging with my content. What do I do?
But somebody just asked that question. So here we go.
So what do I do? You have to engage with people in order for people to engage with you. And that is the simplest way that I can put it. So you need to comment on people's posts. You need to like their content. You need to tag them in something if they are featured in what you're in a photograph or in a video. You want to create this level of engagement. So if you create a post, and this is something I hate to see, if you post something and then people comment and you don't respond. What was the point of creating a post? I'm also going to encourage you to always respond. Don't just hit the little heart and just heart people's comments. Don't do that. You want to actually respond. So when we talk about that algorithm, right, this is how you increase the likelihood of more people seeing your content, is when there is engagement happening on your content. So if somebody posted something underneath your photo, you want to reply back. If you don't have nothing to say, just say thank you. Right? It helps out the algorithm so that your post can continue to be seen. What that tells Instagram is that, oh, this is a post that people like. People are engaging with this post. So maybe more of her followers want to see this particular piece of content. That's how that works. So when people talk about this algorithm, it's all about engagement. In order to receive engagement, I'm going to always encourage you to be someone who engages, right? So something that I tell my clients inside of my programs is that you want to do what I call the like three post, comment on one, right? So if your goal is to increase your followers on your Instagram, how do you increase followers on Instagram? You kind of have to find those followers, right? So if you know who your target audience is, one, you need to always know who your target audience is, and you see people who match what you're trying to do in the digital space, go to their profiles, double tap 3 pictures, comment on one. What that does is now once they go to their phone and they're like, oh, this person just liked 3 posts in a row and they commented, I'm gonna see who this person is. I'm gonna visit their profile. I'm gonna say, oh, this is somebody that I would like to engage with and follow. Boom, you got a new follower. More than likely, people will also turn around and return your engagement on your post. So if you engage with them, they're going to come back and say, oh, well, let me engage with your post too. Let me follow this person as well. That's how that works, right? So if you remember how Instagram, when it first started, we used to do this like follow Friday, right? That no longer exists, where it was like, follow me, I follow you back kind of thing. That no longer exists. However, you can still use that method somewhat in a way when you begin to engage with people's content, or if people engage with your content, returning the favor of that engagement. That's how you increase your followers, right? There are other ways to also increase your followers I'm going to talk about a little bit later, but engagement is the root of everything. And I want to pause right here for a moment because, as we know, as Pam mentioned, that Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company, right? So Facebook is the parent company, it owns Instagram. On Friday, Mark Zuckerberg and the Facebook, I actually created this post on my page just last night, where I say that the future of social media is changing. So I'm going to read this off really quickly. And I said, yes, you heard that right. Last week, Mark Zuckerberg and the Facebook crew announced several updates that will impact your social media experience. This goes for all of the apps in the Facebook family: Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, Portal, and Facebook itself. The big theme is privacy and community. Facebook wants to make communities as centralized as friends and families. What does that mean? That means that the focus on engagement is going to be imperative. It means that you need to truly cultivate your tribe of influence and spend more time developing content that matters to your consumers. An amazing nugget too that you might not like is that Instagram likes are going away. All right. So there's going to be no more instant gratification for our content. What they are doing is that how we could go to your profile and you can see, oh, this person has 500 likes on their profile or on their picture. They're actually taking that away. Whereas the person who is seeing the content, if you're the owner of the content, you can see how many people liked it, but you cannot see who the people are. So that's something that I believe is going to cause a huge uproar on Instagram. However, what this does though is that it goes to this root of engagement. not just double taps on your profile. Can you actually get people to take action on your content? So the way to do that is to cultivate your tribe. How do you cultivate your tribe? One, understanding again who your target audience is. Two, being able to engage them and capture them in some type of capacity. I talked about last week on my Instagram profile as well, is that using your close friends on Instagram. So whenever you post a story, some of you may have seen, well, all of us have probably seen the option where once you post something, you see this close friends option. Can y'all see that? It's the green option where it says close friends. Maybe y'all can see if you use your phone and take a picture real quick, you're gonna see the option that says close friends, or it's gonna say your story, okay? When you create close friends, something that you can do is if you have people who have purchased your products and your services, if you are creating some type of just experience outside of your profile, you can send content only to certain people through direct messaging, through your Facebook through your Instagram stories. So what that does is it creates what Facebook is focusing in on is community. So when you talk about community, this goes into your groups, creating groups, any type of close knit thing where people who have like-minded, people who have like interests are a part of. You can do that same thing on Instagram through using this close friend option, okay? So when you do that, you're creating and curating content solely for that audience, right? And in order for people to get that content, they have to be a part of this close friends group or a Facebook group if you have a Facebook group as well. We all know about Facebook groups, but now Facebook is putting an extreme emphasis on that community, privacy, and creating and curating specialized content for people who desire to have it. So engagement is going to be the root of everything that you do moving forward.
So one of the things, the questions, it's all going on in the chat. How much time? How much time do I have to put in? You're talking about engagement. Do I have to be on my phone all day? How do you engage without being on all the time? And it says they have a busy schedule. How much time is good time? Okay, so that's really
so. What I would say to do is lunch breaks. When you have your downtime, once you are done for the day, and pick up your phone. And that's something that I do. Pick up your phone and just see what's my engagement like today, right? How many people have liked something or how many people who have actually commented on my profile. I just did that right before we got on the call tonight. Whereas there were like people just liking a certain post and they were commenting, and I just took the time to sit there, which took me about 30 minutes to reply back to these people's posts. If I didn't have something to say, I just dropped the emoji with my little purple heart because my brand colors are purple and blue. So it's like purple heart, here you go. And just taking time, dedicating a set time. So if you could do that during lunch, or if you do that in your downtime once you get home, to focus in on engagement, responding to people on your profiles and platforms, and then also going out and doing the 3 posts, doing the 3 likes and 1 comment on posts. What I would say to do is if you could do that on maybe 10 profiles a day, 5 to 10 a day, if you want to start there. And actually just double tapping, liking, and you could move on to the next person. So something that you can do is create a layout for yourself or a planner for yourself. If you have to set your goal. If your goal is to do 10 people a day, you write your goal down. If you know exactly who your competitors are in your space where you are, you can look at their followers that they have. That's an easy way to find people who will already be interested in the type of content that you are producing and providing, and just going to those profiles, starting there, double tapping and liking that. So that's an easy way to find people. If you're like, I don't know where to find these people, you should be able to identify effectively who your competitors are if you understand your target audience. Identify who your competitors are and see who are following them, right? And start there. Hope I answered that question. Good.
That's a good thing. The other question was, can we hire someone And do we need to be on all platforms?
Ooh, you do not need to be on all platforms. Don't be that person. So this again, and all of this goes into your target audience. If you understand your target audience, you will then understand that there are different demographics on every single platform. So if there are different demographics on every single platform, and I know who my target audience is, and I'm going to the platform where my target audience is. Now, a lot of people always say, well, do I need to be on Facebook? Facebook is kind of like your catch-all, be-all. Everybody's on Facebook, right? So I'm always going to say that I believe that you need to have a Facebook page. However, if you are telling me that your audience is more so towards millennials or more so towards Gen Zers, then Facebook is not the option where they are going to be. Gen Zers are on Snapchat, millennials are on Instagram. So you need to focus your attention where your audience is, okay? Facebook is good. Typically, if you have a Facebook page, or if you have an Instagram page, you need to have a Facebook page, especially when we go into creating your advertisements and things like that. You have to have a Facebook page in order to even have an Instagram business account. So you have to have a Facebook page. So I'm going to encourage you to have a Facebook page, and then find the profile or find the platform where your audience is. So if that's Snapchat, then you need to have Snapchat. If it's Instagram, you need to have an Instagram. Do not be on every single platform, because it's not going to do anything for you but tire you out and make you feel extremely overwhelmed. You need to capitalize and focus in on one platform and master that platform and grow that platform. And there was another question. Let me open this up.
It was a question about hashtags, and the hashtag, it says, do you have to have a different hashtag to trigger that? You have to have different hashtags to trigger the algorithms.
So I'm talking about hashtags. It's coming soon. It's one of the steps.
Okay, all right.
There was another question that you asked.
Oh, it says, should we put hashtags in the post or in the first comment? That was what someone had a question.
Okay.
And it that just kind of depends, I guess, but I put them in the post.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter if you put them inside of your content or if you make it a comment. However, if you make it a comment and it be something that comes right away, because if it comes later, it doesn't really have an impact.
Right.
So
there's a lot of questions about hashtags. It's the proper way to use hashtags. So yeah. All right, we'll get there. All right.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I answer all the questions surrounding engagement before I move on. Okay. All right. Oops. Hold on. So listen, step 4 is about hashtags. So please use hashtags, but please use them the right way. So don't use generic tags. So when we talk about generic hashtags, that's like hashtag business, hashtag speaker, hashtag phone. Like, okay. So when we talk about hashtag speaker, this is just one that is a good example. We may be thinking about this in the realm of being a professional or a public speaker. However, a random person on Instagram could be hashtag speaker and be talking about their speakers that's in their house, in their car, the new speakers that they just bought somewhere. And it's so general and it doesn't really do anything, right? But when we talk about, and this is something that Brian and I had to work on, right? So I'm like, hashtag maybe professional speakers, hashtag Black speakers, hashtag call for speakers, hashtag et cetera, et cetera. You want to make sure that your hashtag is very defined and focused, right? So Instagram allows you to have a maximum of 30 hashtags. Now, you do not need to use all 30 hashtags. If you can find hashtags that are good for your brand, you can do about 15 or 10, whatever. But the max is 30 hashtags. I always encourage that you have a branded hashtag. So a branded hashtag is for your business. You can use your name, the name of your book, the name of your company. So I have hashtags for all three of my brands. One, I speak, right? So hashtag Keisha K Speaks. I tell people, hey, if you follow me, if you're here today and you take any pictures, hashtag Keisha K Speaks. That one gets people on my hashtag. Two, I'm able to use that content as user-generated content for me to repost, for me to collect that information, right? But then you also are able to follow your hashtag. So anytime someone posts any content around your branded hashtag, you can capture that content. You can also follow hashtags that are just industry defined inside of your industry. So if you struggle with content, or if you struggle with certain areas and aspects, you can follow hashtags that are related to something, so that you're able to continuously see what are ways and avenues for me to get better. How
do you make it yours? So Magdalene was saying, how do you make a hashtag yours? So like you said, a branded hashtag. So obviously your name is, you know, like you said, Keisha K Speaks. So that's yours. Mine's is PR Coach. Now there are other, you can't copyright a hashtag.
No.
You can't trademark it, but it is unique to you. So a lot of times if you're Mikhail, like if your name is spelled differently, okay, and it's a different name, people don't know how to spell it, but just your hashtag. So you know that when people click that, because they're curious, they'll see all of the ones you're going to be there. Dr. Geneva Speaks, she uses that. No one has that. Or Kimberly, she may use 50 Shades of Plus, right? 50 Shades of Us, you know what I'm trying to say. So it's like whatever is unique to you. And so if I use Pam Perry, there are other Pam Perrys as hashtag out there. So they'll click Pam Perry and it's like a whole bunch of other people. But if I do Pam Perry PR, it may not be. So you can't really make it like a trademark, but you can make it so that it is Magdalena. It could be like just your name itself is different. So if you were to hit blue on Magdalena, I'm sure if maybe some other people, but if it is, so put Magdalena Speaks or something like that behind it so that it is yours. Because once you do use a hashtag, hit it to see what other people are using that. And if you don't want to be in that realm, change it. I'll give you a good example for me. So I have 3 Instagrams, and one is for Speakers Magazine. And so whenever I would do a magazine cover, I would do like Cover Girl. And I just thought it was cool, Cover Girl. So I happened to hit the hashtag. And the Cover Girl is not what I thought. It was a little pornographic. I'm like, oh, okay. That's not the hashtag. So I had to go back and change it because I don't want people to hit that hashtag and think like, ooh. And it was the same thing where another pastor friend, she'd use a hashtag. And I said, if you hit it, it's going to go to like some kind of drugs. It was some, I don't know whether it was cannabis or whatever. I don't know what it was, but whatever it is. Oh, I know what it was. She was talking about, it was a particular day, like abuse, child abuse, national domestic violence. I think it was Domestic Violence Month. And so it wasn't what she used, but she was talking about domestic violence in her post. And so I think she used the hashtag domestic violence or abuse. And I said, if you hit those, that is not where you want people to go. All right. It's an alarm. So she had to go back and change it. She was trying to bring it out, but not really send people to the wrong thing. So you want to check out the hashtags before you just randomly put them on there, just to check to make sure it's not anything crazy.
Yes. You can check your hashtags if you go to Twitter. So we know Twitter is where hashtags actually originated from, and just do a search. You can do that same type of search now on Instagram, or you can just go to the search bar and type in your hashtag to see if it's a hashtag that's in use. The thing about it is that it's a hashtag. So if you create a branded hashtag, you want to make sure that it's something unique to you and your experience of what you have to offer, much like Pam just said. So the way to find that is to do your research and to actually do searches on hashtags that you may want to follow. Now, a way that if you don't know where to go with your hashtags, I'm big on competitor analysis. and seeing, well, what are some tags that my competitors are using, and actually researching those tags. And what will happen is Instagram will tell you that, hey, here are some similar hashtags, right? So say that you're like, oh, I don't want to get on that hashtag because, you know, they're using it, but they'll say, hey, here are some other similar hashtags that you may want to engage with too. That's an easy way to find different hashtags that you can utilize for your business as well. And then if you struggle with this too, if you go to like hashtag generator, you can find hashtags that way if you just kind of type in what you're doing. If you use any type of, I use a Instagram scheduler. So there are several different Instagram schedulers that are out there. I use Later, and it's called later.com. And with that, if you get the paid version of that, they will help you to do the searches of different hashtags, or they will suggest hashtags to you for you to use. So there are several ways to find different hashtags for you to use on your posts when you create them. Okay.
She asks, what's the difference between a hashtag and a tag? So sometimes tagging is like what you do on Facebook. Someone tags you in a post. So on Instagram, you can also tag people if you just basically put your mouse or your cursor on their face and you're tagging people. Mm-hmm. But I really sometimes don't like to tag people if they're not in the picture or if it has nothing to do with them. Sometimes people are tagging you to get more people to really pay attention to what they are doing. I found that it got to be a little much, because it was one lady that was tagging me in every freaking post and had nothing to do with me. She was just like, knew that I don't know why she was tagging me. Just tagged like 100 people, you know, and she's just tagging everybody. And so at a certain point, you become a nuisance. Yeah, like it's not social media marketing. It really was called social networking. So you don't just like, it's like going into a room and you throw your card to everybody. It's like, I didn't ask for that. So I didn't ask for you to be tagging me and stuff. Now, if it has something to do with me, then yeah, tag me, because I may not see it. So it's just a way of like tapping somebody on the shoulder, like, hey, look at this. Now, hashtag is just what you put the pound sign. And so when people look at that, if I'm looking at a hashtag, say Grammys, okay, Grammys 2019, then I can see all the pictures from the Grammys 2019. Or if I have an event, and my event is NAACP Freedom Dinner, so I look at all the pictures from the NAACP Freedom Dinner. So it's almost like having your own little private conversation. It's like we're all in the know. We're all talking about, you know, I first got on to really, really liking hashtags when I watched Scandal on Thursdays, right? So it's like, so I would watch everybody's comments on Scandal. And that's how it's like we are sitting in the living room together and we're all commenting, because we're using, like, we'll say some words and we'll just hashtag Scandal. So that's how we use hashtags, so everybody can find that conversation all in one. But tagging someone, it can be rude if they're not in the picture, just like on Facebook. It's just rude. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah. So with your competitor analysis also, yes, you can use, I saw someone ask that question, like, can you use hashtag the people are using? Yes, because the hashtag doesn't necessarily, especially if it's something that's just related to business in general, or just related to a particular industry in general, absolutely, you could jump on a hashtag if you see that is performing well. Hashtags is also another way for you to find people who may want to engage with your content in your page. So we talked about engagement earlier. So if you see people who are underneath a certain hashtag, then that means that they, again, are your circle of, or your level of interest is the same. So you can get them to come over to your brand experience that you are cultivating, curating on your page as well. So that's another way for you to engage. And all right, so people ask this question all the time, is can you actually make money on Instagram? And the answer to that question is yes. I am a very if you know anything about me, I'm I'm such a stickler on strategy. You could do anything that you want to do if you have a plan to do it. So strategy on your social media platforms is a must have. If you want people to buy from you, you need to have something that is clearly laid out and defined as to how you're going to get them to buy. So strategy has to be a part of everything that you do in the digital space. It does not work without strategy. So yes, you can make money on Instagram. You can sell your products directly from your timeline. And some of you may have seen this, especially for our product-based businesses and brands, where you could tap on a post and it actually takes you through the buyer experience. Now Instagram, that's something else that they are changing with the announcements that they made on Friday, is that they want to keep you in app to make all of your purchases versus taking you to somebody's website and things of that nature. So that means that your whole entire buyer experience will happen on Instagram. So that person will never have to leave that particular platform in order to buy something from you. That's a huge plus. So you can sell directly on Instagram with any products. We kind of already know that. But what if I have a service-based business? How do I also capture those sales? So again, you want to make sure inside of your captions, I always say to tell a story, then sell. So you want to tell a story in your captions, and longer captions also help when it comes to the algorithm, because it's called time spent on posts. So people, if they spend a longer time on your post actually reading your caption, then that also tells Instagram that this is a post that people like because they're spending a lot of time on it, right? And then at the end of your post or at the end of your caption, you need to always have a call to action. I mentioned this earlier. What is it that you want people to do as a result of seeing your content? So if it is for them to purchase your book, if it is for them to subscribe to your email list, if it is for them to go behind the scenes with you inside of your stories, it can say, hey, take a look at my story highlight that says book. And if I go there and I can actually go behind the scenes with this, right, and I can actually see what's happening, you need to have a call to action. People, we have to be told what to do. That's just like a part of nature. Anytime you see any type of sales ad, it's like, they're like, come to JCPenney's. You're like, oh, dang, this Saturday I need to go to JCPenney's. So that's just a part of what we're doing. So you could also use your paid advertisements, all right? I'm not a fan of boosting any posts. So I do believe that you need to go through the real experience of creating an ad. So through your Facebook Ads Manager. You can create and curate your Facebook ads through your Facebook Ads Manager, as well as your ads for WhatsApp, your ads that will feature in Messenger, your ads that will go on Instagram, are all through Facebook Ads Manager. This is something that you will find if you go to your Facebook page. It's off to the left. It's like it's about three tabs up from the bottom. It's like a little, I don't know what you call that, this left panel on Facebook. When you go there, it's over there. And you need to go inside of there and actually create your ad. The biggest part of creating your ad is always going to be the image or the video that you use. Facebook does not allow you to use images for advertising that has a lot of text on it. It does not work. They're going to tell you no. Or they're going to tell you, all right, we'll take your money, but this ad is not going to perform well. So you want to use something that has a large focus in on an image, less text, or you want to use a video where you can actually tell people what it is that you want them to say or what it is that you want them to do. Inside of that Ads Manager, we also go back to this idea of really understanding your target audience, because they're going to ask you, well, who do you want to target with this ad? If you understand very clearly who your target audience is, you could go through the whole framework of creating your ad and pushing it out to a very targeted audience who will be able to take action on what you are creating. So
the whole point about Facebook ad managers, because I don't want some people haven't even created their Twitter accounts, so it's different levels. So the Facebook ad managers, me being relatively savvy in social media, Facebook ad managers is not easy to do. It's easier to boost a post because you could do that, and it does do some traction, but sometimes it's better to hire someone to do Facebook ads for us. So is that something you do?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Then
do.
we're gonna move on to step 6.
Yes, yes. That's something I
Because
do.
I hire you to do my Facebook ads because it's like, guys, it's like being a media buyer. So a lot of ad agencies will have media buyers and the media planner, media buyer, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, cool. Okay, I want to buy radio or TV, whatever. And so all the reps can send you all the rate cards. And then you look and you try to figure out what's the best deal, what's the best way, and how to ask you look. But that's a whole nother discipline. Facebook ads is a whole nother discipline. So if there's one thing I should say, unless you really want to get into the business of doing Facebook advertising, to find someone that can do that for you very inexpensively, so that, because you're doing it all the time. So pay them in bulk and say, okay, for the month of May and June, I want to do Facebook ads. Here's my budget. This is what you do. Okay, because the time it takes you to really do it right, you could have done something else that's more genius in your business. So I always say, if you have to learn something so much and then it takes it away from your core thing that you do, then you don't need to do it. Now, writing, creating the content, giving them this, that's fine. But the technical part of it, I just say you do need to do it. Facebook ads work, and you will know that they work. Boosting posts, not so much. It's easy to do, but the harder something is, the more it's going to work. So I would say Keisha would be a good person to really, I would recommend. She does this fabulously, and so if you don't know how to do it, so Keisha will help you. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So understand, the last thing I have inside of here is to understand what your audience wants. So before you create any type of ad, you want to know, well, what is that my audience wants, so that you don't spend a lot of time creating an ad that nobody actually wants to purchase something from. So easy ads to create is what I identify as your evergreen ad. So if it's funneling people into your email list, funneling people to your Facebook page, funneling people to a event page, something like that, those are things that you can do relatively easy, that does not take a lot of time doing outside of these other type of Facebook ads that we can do. So if you are focusing in on like your lead generation as a part of the experience of your ads, then that will be what we identify as an evergreen ad, because you can run that continuously and to see a profit or a return on your investment. So you want to understand what your audience want. Is it an ebook? Do they want a video? Do they want a check sheet? What is it that they want that will be something that is easy for them to access, easy for you to create? I was going somewhere and I lost my train of thought. Easy for you to create? Yes. So the different types of ads are your video ads, your photo ads, and your carousel ads. Your carousel ads are what you will see if you're looking at any type of product. You can kind of see the different options. Your video ad, we know what that is, as well as your photo ad. So those are some different type of ads that you could create inside of here. So yes, you can make money from Instagram. I also say, even outside of your advertisements, you can also make money directly through your direct messenger. So we know this as our DM on Instagram. So again, if you have and this actually works, y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all this work. I tested out this theory last summer, and I did something called the Instagram facelift, right? This was just some idea that just popped in my mind, and I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna charge people $75. And with that came like your bio makeover and your I actually created the story highlight covers, and I gave people a 2-part strategy for $75. It was a pretty good deal for that. So, and I was just testing this out. Like, I'm gonna just sell this strictly in my DMs to see if I could really sell this in my DMs. So when I created my post, I did like a live, and I, went into my stories and told people blah, blah. And I said, DM me the word facelift. So when people DM me the word facelift, inside of Instagram, you can create, what we kind of call as an automatic message almost. And if you go to your Instagram, and this is my stories, or not my stories, I'm sorry, if you go to your messenger, inside of messenger, you see, inside of messenger where you actually have your message that you're typing, there's a plus button right here, okay? You're gonna click that plus button. Then you will see something that has 3 little dots right there as like a message bubble almost. If you click that message bubble, you can have something that you call your quick replies. So you can see my quick replies here. And I named them. So if somebody, I did this 3 times. Actually, I did one for survival, one for hashtag. So if somebody actually DM me the word hashtag, I would just come here, hit my quick reply, and it would go, my message will go out to them. So it's like, hey, to secure this particular thing, you need to take these steps, and boom, I close a sale. I'm like, send the money to this link, boom, I made money off of Instagram. And it works. So the call to actions are really important. So really telling people, hey, I want you to take this next step. You read my post, you saw it, now I need you to do something for me as a return of me being in business using social media. So selling your direct messenger. Again, Facebook ads are next level and high level, but there are other ways for you to sell online and in Instagram. DMs is one. Using your stories, using your posts, going live. All those things will help you to create that sale. So some bonus. So as a speaker using Instagram, so what are some things that I can do? So number one is when you think about using social media or using Instagram and really being able to create this level of excitement, this level of engagement. If you have a talk and you know your talk is going to be on May the 19th, what is it that the host person of that event is posting? What are they creating, right? How can I use that as a part of my social media experience? So I could say, hey, I'm really excited to speak at X, Y, and Z event. I'll be talking on this particular subject matter. If you're going to be there, let me know, right? That's creating that pre-excitement of your talk. I'm going to be talking about 1, 2, 3, right? That's creating that excitement. The day of your talk, you can say, hey, I'm in town. I made it to Florida, right? You're getting people hyped up about this, about seeing you, and like, oh man, I'm really gonna meet her. Like, oh, she lit. I want to know her. I want to shake her hand, take a picture with her. It's like, hey, if you're gonna be here, I'm gonna have, you can say, I'm gonna have coffee in the lobby or something, whatever. Create that experience so that people can really buy into you as a speaker who's getting ready to be a part of this larger event. How do you make your presence known and impactful outside of you just stepping on a stage, talking, and leaving? So the third thing that I have here is also when you are on stage during your talk, tell people to, hey, y'all know we do this all the time. So you doing something, I'm capturing you on my Instagram stories, I'm taking a picture, I'm writing down little quotes. I'm gonna tell you as soon as I start talking, I want you to follow me on Instagram. Everybody put your phone out. Boom. I just gained 100 new followers. Pull your phone out. Follow me on Instagram. If you post anything, or if you post anything, tag me in it. This is my handle. I want to repost it. I want to share your content, right? That gets people excited about curating content for you that you could then use for yourself on your platforms. So when you're on a stage, you could do a selfie with the audience. You could do anything, a countdown, get them to say something if you want them to, get them to be energetic in a part of your overall brand experience. The fourth thing is that off stage, once you finish your talk, then you can actually take pictures with audience members. What I have found to be very impactful anytime I do a workshop is I actually find 3 people at that workshop, the people who I feel have engaged the most, right? And I say, hey, can you do a testimonial for me really quick? And I pull my phone out and I let them do a testimonial. And that's content that I can use. And then that also shows social proof on my behalf of being a speaker, of being a business owner, of being a coach, of being an author, right? That I can use on my website. I can use on my social platforms, get people's permission, to use that in those contexts. So you have social proof that, yes, I am an expert. Yes, I am good at this particular thing in this particular subject matter. then it also helps you with creating content on your page too. And then post talk, right? So maybe the talk happened 2 days ago. You could just kind of give a recap like, oh, I really enjoyed this. Here are some takeaways that I took away from the event. Here's what I poured into the audience, et cetera, et cetera. So those are ways that you can use your Instagram page, your social media outlets for your speaking business, for anything that you're doing as it relates to being a speaker in a social space. Last slide is other tips that you need to know. Is one, links do not work in your Instagram caption. I see this happen all the time, and I'm like, nobody can click on that link. I'm not really sure why you did that, but you want to point people to click the link in your bio. When we talk about your bio also, you want to have a bio that may have multiple links in it if you do multiple things, right? So we understand that Linktree was out. Linktree kind of it's kind of fading away. People don't use it as much. But you do have like link in bio and those different options. I'm big on data, so I use link in bio, or link.bio is one also, whereas I could track how many people are actually clicking on my links. Is my conversion rate actually successful? I'm big on numbers. I want to see what's happening. So links don't work in your Instagram caption. Don't do that. Point people to the link in your bio. You want to share posts directly to your story. So say if you say, hey, I don't even know what to put in my stories, you can actually hit the share button from your profile and share that information into your stories. And maybe you just go a little bit more in detail and depth in your stories as a 1-2 little video afterwards. So that's something that you could do as well. And then the last thing, how do I understand what my audience wants, Keisha? How do I understand what type of content to create for them, what I should be posting? You need to ask your audience questions. Ask your audience, what is it that they want? People will tell you. They will provide you with feedback. People love to talk. I promise you, they are going to tell you. So create a pose. Your pose can be as simple as yes or no questions, right? You've probably seen this happen on Instagram stories. You have probably actually done a poll in someone's Instagram stories. They ask a question. You can say yes or no to that question. Say, hey, if I did blah, 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 would you participate? If I did X, Y, and Z, would you do blank? And people say yes or no. Or if you're torn between something like, should I do a webinar or should I go live? People say, oh, webinar, live. That is what your audience, they will tell you what they want or what they expect from you. You can also now do questions. So if you are going live on Instagram at some point in the day and you are doing more of a Q&A thing, you can have your question options go out in advance. So you can tell people all day long, pop your question in here. I'm going to be going live at 9 o'clock tonight and I'll be answering all these questions. So then when you go live, you can just pick the question, put the question on the screen, talk about that question, move on to the next question. What that does is if I posted a question, I'm tuning in at 9 o'clock for you to answer my question. So you already have a base level of people who are going to participate in your Instagram live. And then there are other features inside of stories that you can also use. So I'm always going to say to play around with it to see what actually works for your brand. Test it out. Testing is a big part of any type of industry that you're in. You have to see if it actually works. So give all these things a try. And that's it. Any questions?
They have some.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to have some.
Hi, this is Allison. Great presentation. My question is, can you schedule Instagram posts like you do Facebook? Like I can schedule something for tomorrow or 2 days later?
Yes, you can do that. However, you can't do it in Instagram like you do for Facebook. Like you can actually schedule in Facebook. You would have to use a third-party scheduler. So I mentioned earlier about Laters. Planoly is another one. Buffer. There are a lot of different Instagram schedulers that you use.
I like Buffer the best.
Yeah.
And Sendable is good too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's buffer.app maybe. I can actually do like the in our resource area, the different ones that people use for scheduling. Buffer app is good. Sendable is good. Laters is one. But apps are everything. They really are. But I use Buffer app personally. And you could if you do a content calendar, you could sit down one day and just do the bulk of your social media in one day, just by actually loading it up into an app.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah,
what I do for my content. So I always say to find one day out of the week where you can actually sit down, spend 2 hours, create your content calendar, upload it, and go on about your day. So you don't really have to worry about, well, it's Thursday. What am I post today? You've already created your content calendar, you scheduled it out, you're rocking and rolling.
there is someone that uses Instagram a lot. So I'm looking at everybody and I'm thinking their avatars, looking at them. Charlotte, Magdalena, Kimberly, Mikhail, I'm thinking you're probably more Instagram because it's more in maybe Day. She does pageants. But Instagram tends to be skew a little bit younger than Facebook. So say, for instance, Magdalena may use Facebook because it's more personal and she's talking about relationships. Geneva, definitely Facebook. She has like a really growing Facebook group. I'm thinking for Kimberly just got on Twitter. So she's blogging and she's pushing out her content that way. But Mikhail, do you have any questions about Instagram? Because it seems like yours is being fashion tends to be it's a visual. When you said, Keisha, when you said Instagram is like a magazine, I kind of got it at that point. It was like, that's true because a lot of the visual things on Instagram has to look like a magazine cover.
Yeah.
So it has to look, really, really good. Before when I was posting stuff, I would be posting, just random things of Pam. And people didn't care about that. It has to look like a magazine.
I think for me, like I've definitely locked down the magazine look for a long time now. I know that people really are visual on Instagram, and if it's not cohesive, they're just like, what are you doing? My thing is I'll use social media to post fashion and what my avatar would like vacation pics and things like that. But I'm also a speaker. I also have a passion to help women feel their most beautiful. So I'll try to do that on my personal page. So I guess just trying to find the balance of posting for both and then just using the proper hashtags. Like I know about the whole, brand hashtags and then Instagram having a certain amount of hashtags, but I also know that some hashtags get so many people using it that your post will show up and then within 5 seconds someone else's, and just really knowing how to find unique ones. So like you mentioned ladder.com, I will definitely look into that. But I think just for me, just really getting the organic engagement. I have not been liking and commenting on other people's posts like I should. Like my Facebook page is way more engaging than my Instagram, and I'm trying to I'm taking a lot of notes, but I guess I'm just trying to find the balance and really using what works. Like I really want to reach out to for the Facebook ads because I currently just paused my promotion on Instagram for my fashion line, and that has actually been working out really well. I've received at least 100 subscribers per day. I've only been doing it 3 days. But I did not realize it was a difference. And I know that other people who sell products, they can put like 5 different links within one post. So you can click on that necklace if you want to purchase that specifically, or you can click on that scarf. And I'm like, I cannot figure out how to do it. I've been researching it. I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, I could talk all day about it. But yeah, Instagram is really my thing.
So Keisha, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do see that. It's like this, I got this necklace on Instagram. It's, and I actually clicked the post where I actually bought it. I think it's Noonday. Noonday has, they basically bring people from third world countries and they make the jewelry. And so I saw Noonday jewelry and whatever. And so within their post, the actual post, you can click on it and actually buy. How do you do that?
So in order to do that, you do need to have a Shopify account.
Ah, okay, that's true. I did check out with Shopify.
Yeah, you have to link your Shopify to your Instagram.
That's true.
So,
it was Shopify.
Yeah, so if you see where it's like you actually see the image, you can click on it, you see a little white dot on it, and then you can just click the dot and you go through the purchasing process. You have to connect it to Shopify.
Ah, okay.
Can I ask one little question about that? My e-commerce website is based on WordPress and it wasn't built on Shopify, so can I still do that?
I do not know. I'm going to say no because I believe the only e-commerce that is compatible on Instagram is Shopify.
Yeah.
In WooCommerce maybe, but I haven't seen that. That's what WordPress is, WooCommerce. But I have not seen that in my research, my findings. Let's see. So
That's why I'm not able to do it.
Yeah, so that could be why. And then the other thing too, if you're researching things, Mikhail, and you see other people having something in your social media that you like, that you want to do, don't be afraid to ask them, how'd you do that? Okay. So one of the things that I saw that people were doing was taking their podcast and then they have the words over them. So it's like an audiogram. So basically I asked someone, I just DM'd them and I said, how do you get your podcast to be a minute with a clip on it? And they just gave me the app. And a lot of people don't mind doing that because you're different and, you know, it's like you have different market, you have different avatars. So they just told me that, you know, you use this particular one. So it's a great way for a podcast. And I kept looking at it. I was like, well, what do I don't even know what to Google. You know, I was like, I don't even know. So I'm going to just ask them. And most people don't mind because they probably had to ask somebody themselves because it's all new. It's all new. Ain't nobody wake up knowing how to do none of this. It's all new. The best way to keep up with all of this that I find is to subscribe to Social Media Examiner or Social Media Today. Those are like newsletters or blogs where they're telling you what's new and current. And you can become so obsessive really trying to learn it all, or just, just glancing through like Social Media Examiner once in a while, or even just clicking through and searching in that website, you'll find it because they really tell people in such a dummy down way how to do anything. So socialmediaexaminer.com or Social Media Today is really, really good. Are there some, Keisha, that you like as well?
Y'all can follow me.
Okay.
I give away tips all the time on my social page. I'm gonna put it inside of Messenger. Yep. Come on over to the Keisha K Experience. Every week I drop at least 2 tips for how you can use your Instagram and social media platforms. But yes, I do agree with what Pam said. Those are some very good outlets. Well, I follow and see what Facebook and Instagram are doing from their perspective as well.
Oh, okay.
Kind of stay on trend with that. So
yeah, that's really good. It says I research hashtags using hashtagify.me. And I've never used that before. Okay, so hashtagify.me. I'm telling you, people who are creating these businesses are really, really good. Hashtag find me is really good.
Yeah, so it's probably hashtag generator. And there are a lot of hashtag generators out there.
Mm-hmm.
I just do my own hashtags and I do my own research and create my tags that way.
Yeah.
I did find someone who has used the hashtag generator one time, y'all. And this is like why I follow my hashtags as well. As one time this girl used all my hashtags verbatim, like every single one in a row. And I was like, dang, you just copy and paste these hashtags.
Oh my
and she was
God.
like, no, I got them from a hashtag generator. She was like, you must be doing something right. They did it. I just copied and pasted. I was like, wow.
Wow.
And she actually ended up on like one of my branded hashtags. And I was like, hey, I'm using this for my business kind of thing. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. But when I looked at it, it was like every single, in the same order that I put them in and everything.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I would say to really take the time to do research and find the hashtags that you want to use for your business and go from there. The hashtag generators, they work. But that's my personal experience. I've never used them, but I know someone has used them and actually impacted my business. So that's my view on that.
That is good. So next up, just so that you guys know, if you have any questions, think about them. But next week, we're going to go over radio and TV pitching, how to pitch your story from a radio TV veteran. So we've got a radio TV veteran. We've got Lauren coming and Denise Hill coming next week. And then the homework that will be, or not the homework, basically, I guess the resources that will actually be under the video with Keisha is an Instagram planner. So it's just a really Instagram planner. And then I'll give the Speak Up, because I gave you all the Speak Up chapter from mine, but I can give them, Keisha, if you don't mind, I'll give them your chapter so they kind of, because your bio and stuff is in there and, they can learn more. It was like basically talking about how to engage with your tribe, which you really talked about a lot. And then Charlotte already has the book, so she has the entire book, like the whole thick book. She said it's a good book. It is a good book. It is really good. Keisha, and Keisha and I, she's from Detroit, but she lives, in that area in in the DC area. But she actually is from Detroit, and so when we were on a Zoom together, I said I was from Detroit. I was the only one in the book from Detroit. She was like, "Hey, I grew up in Detroit." I was like, "Oh my God," So it's just funny how people just kind of connect that way. And then also too, it was something else that we did that we were, in the book, like my chapter is there and then Keisha's is right after mine. And so in terms of like a guest expert, I knew it was divine. It was like, she really brought it, and you brought so much information. I mean, we were like, they were asking questions before you can even like get to that part. It was like, okay, it's like, it's good. But the Facebook ads, guys, please connect with her, for that, or any of the social media questions that you will have, and follow her definitely on Instagram. That's like her thing. I think you call them story highlights. If we want to do story highlights and you do that for us, how much would you charge for the story highlights? Just that little bar.
I haven't done story highlights by themselves. I probably would charge to create the $75.
Yeah,
just create like
yeah.
for them.
They're like 3 or 4 of them, and they really make a difference on your page. They really do. I think mine are pretty random right now, so I'm going to get you to do mine because I want them to all look the same, because they're just like, mine's are like the highlight cover of the highlight.
Oh.
And so I really wanted to be the highlight of something.
Yeah.
So anyway, so also to what I'll have in there is the Bye Bye Boring bio ebook and audio, and then how to revamp your about page. Because Keisha was we talked about social media, but we didn't even talk about the about page. How people just randomly just throw anything in there, and that's the first thing people see. So we wanted to make sure that that's right and tight.
Your bio is
everything.
Your, I like to call as I'm on your elevator page. It's like your digital handshake. People, you want to make sure that the most important that people need to know is inside of that bio is the most important details. Where people even start to look at your page and your content, they're going to look at your bio and see what it has to say. And does that also flow well? So you want that to also have some type of cohesive flow to it too, so people can read it. It won't just be like a whole bunch of lines of information they don't know where to go.
Magdalena asked, she says, thanks so much, Keisha. She said, is it worth paying to have your social media refreshed? So I don't know what refresh means, like, because you can refresh it by just posting, getting a photo shoot and doing that. I mean, refreshed in terms of how, Magdalena, unmute, like in terms of, oops.
Like updated, like to have the proper banner, and just so that when you go, it looks professional. Because I'm not tech savvy. That gives me. So is it worth just hiring someone to just like go through and make sure that the Facebook is set up right, Instagram page like what you did for that, what you do? Is it worth doing that?
Yeah.
Just having that photo shoot, you know what I mean? Making sure everything looks professional.
Yeah. So what I like to call that is almost like a facelift. It may not necessarily be a rebrand. So I like to do this like a facelift. That's something that we do for Black Speakers Network, where I developed branded content for them in general, and I did it in the form of a template. So I created all this stuff, and I did this. I uploaded the template inside of Canva, so they're able to actually create all the stuff for themselves. But it's on the branded template that we developed for them. Let me see if I can find one. So I'm sorry.
So it's almost like, in a way, when you say that, Magdalena, like a lot of times, just think, so say if we were looking for a job and we had to do a resume. And it's like, I'm not really good at writing a resume. I don't know how to do it, or whatever. But you know that you could pay someone to do your resume, but then you really kind of know your own resume. So it's almost better that you do it yourself, because you know exactly what you're looking for. So a lot of times you can do an audit and just go through each one of your social media and says, oh, I need to really change this, I need to change that, and start to change it yourself. Once you do that once, like she said, if you set it up, it's a template. With the Black Speakers Network, she did the templates, so that's fine. But at least initially, you need to know, because it's not like it's not hard. It just takes practice. So any of the social media things, the only thing that would be really hard is like if we had to code this stuff, okay? But basically, when you're on social media, you're doing the same thing. You're uploading the same picture and you're putting the text. Uploading the picture, putting the text. So it's like riding a bike. So it's not hard, but what would be hard was like if we had to code it and this and that, and that's the technical part. When it's over your head, then yeah, you hire someone to help you. But this part right here was to be social media so that we can actually do it if we're standing in the grocery store line, because it's so easy to do. So doing text, things like that, you could do them on Canva, but I actually do my text within Instagram. And it's the instead of putting up a picture, I'll slide it over and it says text. I mean, you know, and then you pick your colors or whatever. So it's not hard, but it's just like if you want to be, like Keisha kind of said with strategy, if you want to be intentional with it, you got to put your head in the game in it, because it does have a dividend. It does have a ROI on the back end. So, you know, but she can do like, Keisha can do like set up your templates and that sort of thing, but you've got to know initially what you want it to look like. So that's why I put the Instagram planner in there, so you can kind of know, and you give her the planner and say, well, this is what I want. Then that way she can do it for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like the main thing. It's like a resume. It's like, I can't do my resume. It's like, but we learn. How do we do if we had to do a resume? We look at other people's resumes and then we figure out what's the best way to put ours together.
I've been trying, and I go in and I figure it out, but then before you know it, 3 hours pass. And I'm like, oh my goodness, just trying to figure out, like Instagram is not as easy as Facebook. You have to have the right dimensions, the right photo size. I think gives you a headache. Instagram, I feel like is a whole different beast than.
And your audience may not be on Instagram anyway. So that's what I'm thinking. Geneva, Dr. Geneva, you had something you were going to say?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the content calendar, and if you could say a little bit more about that, because I'm sure if you have a content calendar, it could help decrease the time as well. So I guess the question is it content, like is it a theme? Subject theme? Is that what the content calendar is? How do you use it?
So, you can use your content calendar in both ways if you decide that you want to create themes. Sometimes creating themes is easier for you, just so you can focus in on what type of content you want to create. An easy way to think about themes is about what time of year it is.
The reverberate.
Okay, go on. Okay, go on, because I probably had to mute. Two people can only be on at a time.
Okay. So you can think about that in the terms of the different seasons, things like that, or where we are, like, Mother's Day is coming up. If you are a mom, you have something related to women, you could create, posts around that particular thing, or you could create themes that you just have solely for your business. When you talk about creating a content calendar, your content calendar takes a look at the imagery that you're actually going to use that will accompany your text. Your content calendar is where you will actually write out your caption or type it out. You would say, you would literally say, with this, I want my call to action to be this particular thing for this post. And then you would just replicate that. You would say when you want it to go out, what time you want it to go out. And then you would just do that for every single post. That's how you would create a content calendar. Yeah. And I have a content calendar I could send to Pam, and she could send it to y'all for you to be able to do it. I call it a 7-day scheduler, and it just goes on a cycle of 7 days, and you could just keep reusing it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Oh, Pam, you're muted.
You're muted, Pam.
When I did the social media for Dunkin' Donuts, so Dunkin' Donuts had a whole bunch of stuff going on. So they got a whole bunch of products. So basically the content calendar for Detroit would be like, coffee is going to be So every Monday they want to do coffee. And so they were doing 3 posts a day. So it's like coffee, donuts, sandwich, whatever. And so we know what we want to do each particular day over a 30-day cycle. So we would always have to turn it in 30 days. So basically it would be like, okay, so this is the picture. We'd have to go and get the picture, whether we take a picture, whatever. This is the text. And then this is the time. And that was it. It's the picture, the text, and the time. When do you want it to go? And it was just over and over again. So a lot of times for our other clients who were like, Monday would be Motivational Monday. Tuesday is Tip Tuesday. Wednesday, whatever. So the hardest part is really finding the visual first, then writing the caption, and then saying the time, when do you want to post it? So a lot of times it's not that difficult, but you just need a planner. And that's what the Instagram planner is. The Instagram planner will just show you visually what you need to do so that you can see it. So the planner helps. I mean, you can do it on a legal pad if you want to, just by putting it across. But basically, it is that. It's the visual. You're finding the visuals first. So for you, if you were doing working women, not Women Crush Women, but Vibrant Women Wednesday. So you've got 4 Wednesdays. You got to find 4 women for it. Write the copy out. That's it. That's one calendar. That's one piece of content. Monday, motivation. It could be your quotes. It could be Maya Angelou quotes. It could be somebody's motivation, and then those are the pictures. Those are the texts. And so then you just kind of say what dates those are, but don't make it seem like it's like, oh my God, it's like I got to fill this content calendar up. Now, if you have a launch or promotion, that's different because then it becomes a little bit more call to action. But most of the content calendar has to just really visually, I like the way where she did this one here. It visually looks, like every other post is one of her, the Black Speakers Network members, then it's some speaking tips and it's a quote. And then there's a picture that can be random. So when you look at the content calendar, within that content calendar, the BSN, they have to recognize a member. Then they know they got to do a quote. And then they're promoting something. So these are the other things that they're promoting. So it's not all promotion, but basically when I look at it, I know what I can expect from this particular business.
And it goes across social media, meaning that let's say you did a Motivation Monday and you picked a quote, text,
Mm-hmm.
Post it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I mean, you could do it across all social media. Is that the idea too?
Oh, Pam, you muted.
Who has a baby that needs to be muted? Yeah, but that is actually it. On the thing, it will have like Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and you may not put something on LinkedIn because it may not fit, so you actually could see it. Yeah, but I think actually having a planner for each one is probably better because Instagram is a different beast than Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely is. I even though I have the most followers probably in one thing on Twitter, I probably dislike Twitter the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's just maybe it has something to do with 45. I don't know, but I just but I just like Twitter the most. But I do post on there. I post on there from Instagram. Yeah. But anyway, so if there are any other questions or no more questions, Keisha, thank you so much. And everybody's following you. They're going to be contacting you. They have more questions, but it's 9 o'clock and we started at 7. So this is really been really, really good.
Thank you.
Again, the final tips is there's power in community. You all connect. One of the things I want you all to do, and you did in the form, is make sure that you follow each other, like each other. If nothing else, do the engagement of liking each other's. It's not only just good to do, but it helps your algorithm as well. So when someone posts something, one of the things, instead of tagging them, just message them and say, hey, I just posted something. Can you go and like it? It's nothing to do, So that's something that really will boost everybody's up. And I remember a long time ago when I got on Twitter, there was a group of white ladies that would just retweet each other. and they became like a force to be reckoned with. And they are now speaking. This was Mari Smith and that whole little group, but they were like a little clan of white girls that would just support and retweet each other. It was probably like 6 or 7 of them. And I just thought, I says, we need to do that. Okay, just support and Charlotte is really good at that, but just support and repost each other's things and share. And you can't be too busy. I mean, the time that you take to make a phone call is, you could have posted and shared and liked a lot of different things. So, but that is it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right, so follow, stay connected to Keisha, her personal page, and also KR Communications and the agency. Okay, I had the wrong thing. It's knragency.com. All right.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you. All right, stop recording.